In the last video, we talked about how adding Tiffen filters to the front of your lens can totally transform your environment and just add that cinematic vibe to your footage. So in this video, we're gonna take it up a notch and talk about the most important thing to getting that really beautiful film-like look, and that is diffusion. If you haven't seen the previous video about creating a cinematic atmosphere, I highly recommend you go watch that one first. I'll put the link right here. So what is diffusion? Well, simply put, it reduces that harsh contrast and reduces that digital edge that we all see in our footage. You're ultimately kind of diffusing the image to give an overall softer, dreamier, more cinematic, just inviting vibe. Now, to what degree you're diffusing your footage, now that's gonna depend on which filter you use and which density you use. So when it comes to the three main elements that shape the look and feel of your image with diffusion, you've got contrast reduction, halation, and resolution reduction. And it's how all three of these elements come together to create that final look. The pros call this Triangle of Diffusion, and it sounds really complicated, but ultimately what it is it's those three elements and then how they all work together to create that final image. And trust me when I say it's all about finding the perfect balance. So by the end of this video, my hope is that you will know how these soft film-like looks happen in Hollywood films and how the Tiffen filters can make it super easy to get that same effect like that. So let's start first with contrast reduction. Contrast reduction in diffusion basically smooths out all the harsh lines between the highlights and the shadows, making everything feel more balanced and light. Okay, so for example, check out the smoke filter. As soon as you slap this on, you'll notice how it tones down the crazy contrast in the scene, and it's just like everything is instantly a bit hazier and softer, and it just spreads light from the highlights into the shadows, and it gives a way smoother vibe. This filter is definitely heavier in the contrast reduction area than other diffusion filters. It only has a little bit of halation and resolution reduction, which leads me to the next element of diffusion, and that's resolution reduction. So resolution reduction, that's when the fine details in your image just get toned down a bit. They become softer and more blended. It just gives it a smoother, more organic vibe by toning down a lot of that sharpness that we see in digital footage. So let's take the black satin filter, for example. This one's pretty heavy on resolution reduction, so you'll notice how it gently softens all those little details. It gives the image a subtle glow, adds a bit of halation, and still keeps that nice contrast. This one's a good mix of being soft and sharp, because you tone down and soften the entire image, but you still keep that super sharp focus. So for the last element of diffusion, that is halation. Now, halation is when the light spills beyond where it's actually supposed to be in an image, and it creates that really dreamy, like, glow effect. Halation filters are really popular in the content creator world, and what's really cool about the Tiffen filters is that they've got different options. The Black Pro Mist is a total classic from Tiffen. I mean, you can spot that effect right away. What it does is all of the light's gonna bleed a little bit beyond the edges, creating that super soft, really cinematic glow. If you want that old school film-like vibe, this is absolutely your go-to. So as you can see with the three elements of diffusion, with contrast reduction, resolution reduction, and halation, the combination of all three of these elements are what really give your footage that Hollywood cinematic vibe. The one thing to know about Tiffen filters that is really cool is that with all of their diffusion filters, you can choose to what intensity the filter is that you use. Based on how heavy you want to go with one look or another, you can choose the density and ultimately create your own style. And one more thing to note, they don't just create a really cool Hollywood vibe, they've been used in Hollywood and professional filmmaking for decades, and they've even won Academy and Emmy Awards, and you can have them too and slap them on your camera and create these iconic looks. So if you want more information on particular filters, you can go to the Tiffen website. I'll drop it in the description below. And if you have a diffusion filter that you love, let us know in the comments below, and hope you learned something in this video, and we'll see you in the next one.